It's me, Kristen, and this is Blogging Day. But seriously, this is Preach Sister, the show for creatives who are growing in God and their destinies. And today, I want to talk about how you don't need to fly solo. I'm solo, flying solo, I'm solo. I don't know how many of you were like me as a kid, but when I was a kid, I was always trying to start my own club. I was always trying to like build a clubhouse for my club, because like clubhouses were the jam in the 90s. I don't know if you know about that, but yeah. So I actually started some clubs. I started an animal club, and I started a really cool school newspaper, and pretty sure I started other clubs, but those were the two that were the most successful because at least one other person showed up. My idea was I wanted to be responsible for and known for doing something great. And I think that this is true of a lot of creatives, like creatives at any age, right? We want to be known for building something amazing. And I'd actually say that it's in your God DNA, right? Like the thing in you that is creative, that wants to produce things, to be someone who wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. That's actually the point of why God created all of us, and why he created community, and why he created church. So I'm gonna pitch the idea that this isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to want to do great things with your life. But how do you get there? How do you advance when you're alone and you have something that you want to be better at? Well, the truth is, you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. So yes, you can do it, just not alone. We've all heard about how we have just as many hours in a day as Beyonce. I do? But I got news for you. Faye has a team of like 200 people. People say a lot. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And the truth is that if you want to get better at anything, you do need to surround yourself with people and peers and leaders who are doing what you want to do, even if it's not the top tier of what you want to do, but it's like the next level. You should work at surrounding yourself with people who are going towards a common goal. I remember a couple of years ago, I really wanted to grow with my design work, but I wasn't sharing my work with anyone. I wasn't getting in a community of designers who could actually challenge me and say, hey, why did you make this decision or that decision? And now I have I opened up to one designer who was much better than me. And I was like, hey, do you mind reviewing my designs? And it was scary. And I've had like ink master level critiques, right? But honestly, in the end, even though they might hurt a little bit at first, hearing that feedback, it did grow me. And I would say I'm a much better designer. I grew more in the last 2 years than I did the previous 4 years, because I actually let other people's input into my process. And I surrounded myself with other creative people who wanted to have beauty in their lives as well. So I would say, I hear this a lot with music. If you're a musician and you want to become a better musician, then share your music with other musicians. Say, hey, do you want to start a songwriting group, right? Where you actually run your songs by someone else. Do you want to get in a musician Facebook group or something? Put your songs on YouTube and say, hey, maybe just share it with a couple people at first if you're nervous about it. Just say, hey, I'd love your input on this song that I wrote. It's amazing what happens and how it grows you when you make yourself vulnerable to other people. The next thing I would say to someone who really wants to grow in an area is get under someone else's vision. This is a big deal because a lot of times as creatives, we're dreamers and we're like, yeah, I see that this person is doing it over there, but I could do it better. Well, maybe don't start from scratch. Stand on the shoulders of giants and help their vision grow higher. So you might not be the main person that conceptualized a vision, but I have a secret for you. Not everyone is actually meant to be a visionary. There are visionaries, right? There are leaders, and there are people who are refiners and make those visions better or pare them back so that you could do a couple things well. And there are executors, the people who, have a heart to serve and just want to do things really well and diligently and excellently. But not all those roles, even though they can each be great and they can each be recognized, need to be visionary roles. When I was in college, I actually went to film school, and I was taught all about networking and how much relationships are a part of creative careers, creative paths, right? And at first I was like, that's really gross, that's like Hollywood, like who you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually not just like Hollywood, who you know culture. It's really the way that the kingdom is built too. I mean, I believe that relationships are like currency in this life. And I don't want to be seen as like the ultimate slime ball for believing that. But the truth is that it's not so that I can get ahead. It's because we need each other. We were built to be a part of community. The reason why you get lonely sometimes is because you're actually made to be with other people. You're made to be a part of a church. You're made to be a part of family. You know, in the Bible, God says he sets the lonely in families. God says, he made Adam and he said, it's not good for a man to be alone. And then he made Eve, right? And then they had family. And so there's so many examples, even in the first church where they collected offerings for, and they shared all that, like everything that they had, they shared, right? And they sent people out. We're made to be in that sort of community. It's holy. But the truth is, my strengths are different than your strengths. But we are stronger together as a unit. So wrap your head around that and remember that you will always go farther if you go with other people and don't try to do it alone. Okay? Stop trying to do it alone. Get other people involved in your mission. Maybe you are the visionary, but it doesn't mean that you can take on everything. It's really hard to try to do multiple things alone. Get other people involved in your vision. Another part of this is getting under someone else's vision. A lot of times I'll meet young men or young women who are at a crossroads in their life. Maybe they just graduated, right? Maybe that's you. Maybe you just graduated and you don't know what to do next. Sometimes the best thing to do, the best way to find yourself in a way, isn't to go to like Cambodia on a beach or whatever, but really sometimes the best thing to do is to get under someone else's vision or a cause that you align with. And it might just be like an inkling in your heart, not like the full dream yet, but you'll see so much about yourself and so much about your individual destiny and vocation in the way that it plays out with what you do on a team. A lot of people get afraid that if they serve under someone else, then their personal identity is going to get lost or something, or that the person in leadership is going to squash or squander them. And honestly, it's true. There are some leaders who aren't really leading. What they are doing is being a slave driver, or they are being afraid, and so they're keeping everyone in a tight grip and don't let the people under them grow. So when you're evaluating what kind of leader you should come under, look for this. True leaders know that as they rise, they bring everyone else with them. And so if you're seeing a team where they kind of seem like they've been in the same place for a long time, they haven't really grown, they haven't really moved forward, they've just sustained, they've just maintained, that is a sign of leader or a leadership system even, because sometimes people have the right heart but just don't know how to actually grow the people under them. That is a sign of something that maybe you don't want to be a part of. But if you see potential and advancement and people who are growing, that is a great culture to be a part of. The other part of this is that serving someone else births maturity in you. You know, there's that whole stereotype with child celebrities and how they go off the deep end. Well, you know, a lot of times they get glorified too fast, and they get everything that people work their whole lives for so quickly that they don't go through the maturity that refines their character for the rewards that they have, right? Learning to fly solo, doing it alone, destines you for a crash at some point. And while we all fail sometimes, right? You know, it's really our job after a crash, just get back up. It's a lot easier if you have a support system around you, or it's easier to recover when you have people that you've placed in your life that can speak into your life and tell you the truth about who you are and remind you of where you're going and not just your failure. So do not despise the process and the community along the way. Remember that to live a life of growth, it means to live a life of discomfort. But that discomfort produces strong, adaptable, and capable people. You will be so much more mature if you open yourself up to being a part of a team and being a part of something bigger than yourself that you didn't always build yourself. It's going to grow so much maturity in you, and you will learn more about your individual destiny for it. Pride is going to try to keep you small and keep you isolated. But my friend, the only way for you to grow is to get around other people, open yourself to critique, and open yourself to the leadership of other great leaders. So go like a leaf, blossom in the garden of the community. Now, I want to hear from you. How has being a part of a team actually grown you in your individual destiny? Please tell me about it in the comments below. And if you like this video, then please like it and share it with your friends. And if you want more weekly videos from me on growing in God and your destiny, then please subscribe on YouTube or hit like on our Facebook page for more updates on when our next video comes out, which will be next week, because they're weekly. So that's how this works. That's all I got today, guys. Go out, be a blessing, stop trying to start your own club, but get a part of something that's bigger than yourself.